hello everyone, myself Dr. Parneet Kaur, Assistant Professor in IT Department, EKGEC. Today I am going to start with a new video lecture on the concept learning task under machine learning. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about the introduction part of machine learning and a little bit about the task performance analysis. So now in this we'll continue with a new topic, that is the concept learning tasks. So let's start. So the contents which I'll be covering in this are general to specific ordering of hypothesis, and second one is FIND-S algorithm. So just get a brief overview. What is a general to specific ordering of hypothesis? So the first thing which comes in our mind is that what is a definition of learning? It is actually, that is, learning is you suddenly understand something and you have understood all your life, but in a new way. So how to construct programs that automatically improve with experience? So we know that in case of learning, sometimes what you do, you grasp some knowledge and you try to understand the concept, and you understand that concept, everyone understands that concept in a different manner. So the phases of learning and the problem related to learning is divided into three categories, which we did in the previous lecture, that is task T, performance measure denoted by capital P, and training experience denoted by capital E. And for the same, we have seen some examples also. The common example is chess game. In this, if we look at the task T, the task is to play chess games, and the performance comes out for the chess game is, that is, % of games won against an opponent. And the training experience E is playing practice games against itself. So that gives us the training experience, that how many games machine has played with itself, in order to gather more and more experience regarding the game so that he can win at last. So in this form, we have categorized our task into task T, performance measure P, and training experience E. So now let's come to the general to specific ordering of hypothesis. If we look at the definition of general to specific ordering, it is defined as a sense of order among hypotheses in a hypothesis space in any concept learning problem. So actually, if we look at the term general to specific, these are actually two phases of a problem. First phase comprises of a general phase, and then we move to a specific phase. General means a normal scenario where we derive some sort of hypothesis, and specific we reach to some conclusion. So that's why it is a sense of order among hypotheses, and this hypothesis is taken from a whole bunch of hypothesis space in any type of concept learning problem. The problems which we have seen, like the chess problem, the robotic driving problem, vehicular problems, they all are concept learning problems. And in those problems, we have to derive this general to specific ordering of hypothesis so that we can reach to some goal. And suppose we take an example that there is a person, John, who wants to play golf on a specific day, or whether he should play that golf game on that specific day or not. So in this, we would like to learn the concept of play about John. By using the concept of general to specific ordering, we will conclude about this problem. Now, if we look at the scenario, we have a training data regarding the concept play. We have a table. This table is showing us the example 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 examples called as training examples. Then we have some attributes like sky attribute, temperature, wind. These are the 3 main attributes, and these attributes has values like sky, it can be sunny, it can be rainy. So under the attribute sky, we have 2 values, one is sunny, another is rainy. Under temperature attribute, we have three values: warm, freezing, and cold. Okay, and they can be repeated n number of times as per our example. Then we have wind, another attribute, and its values can be, the wind can be strong. So here we have only one type of, you can say, value related to wind, that is strong only. Now if we come to the output which we want to derive from these examples, that is training concept. The training concept comprise of, target concept comprise of play, the player, that is John, whether he should play or not. So if he should play, it shows yes. If he should not play, it shows no. So this is the table with 4 examples and having attributes sky, temperature, wind, and we have a target concept, that is the whether he should play yes or no. Now let us consider the following two hypotheses. For that given example, we have two hypotheses. One hypothesis is denoted by H1, another is denoted by H2. The H1 hypothesis says that it has 3 attributes. One is rainy, warm, and strong. And if all these attributes are there, in a hypothesis H1, then we should say that John, the player, he can play golf. And the outcomes is yes, he can play. And suppose if we have an attribute rainy, the value of an attribute rainy, this is not known, then the third value is known, that is strong, that is wind type is strong. So now it says that we are not sure that the player John should play golf or not. It can be yes, it can be no, both scenarios, because we are not sure, because one value is missing here, that is not known to us. So we can say that from the given problem, we come with two hypotheses, H1 and H2. Now the question is, which instance and how many of them are classified positive by each one of these hypotheses? So now the question arises that under which instance we can say that the hypothesis satisfy the scenario or the positive outcomes will come. Now for H1 only example, number 4. Now if we relate this hypothesis H1 with all the examples, as we can say H1 hypothesis with example 1, sunny, warm and strong. If we see here, we have rainy, warm and strong. So we can say in the table, rainy, warm and strong. This value comes out to be true for H1 with example 4 only, because all these 3 values are matching with H1. None other values are matching with H1 hypothesis. So we can say that example 4 comes for the hypothesis H1. So it says that for H1 only example number 4 is satisfactory. But if we look at H2, both example 3 and 4 can be satisfactory and can be classified as positive. Because in case of H2, we have rainy and we have strong. So if we look here, we have rainy, we have strong. We have rainy, we have strong. These values can be anything. It can be cold, it can be warm, it can be freezing, because we have a unknown question mark for this. So we can say that for hypothesis H2, we can come up with example 3 and example 4. And they both can give a satisfactory result and can be classified under positive. Why is that? What is the difference between these two hypotheses? Now the question arises. The answer lies into the strictness of the constraints that are imposed by each one of these hypotheses, because these hypotheses are giving us some constraint that you should have value rainy, you should have value strong, you should have value warm. If all these constraints match, then we can say that the results come out to be positive. So as you can see that H1 imposes more constraints. All the 3 constraints are there in case of H1, whereas in case of H2, one constraint is missing. So we can say that compared to H2. So naturally H2 is able to classify more examples as positive. So if we come to a conclusion that under which hypothesis we can classify more examples with positive output, that is H2 only. So we have example 3 and example 4 which can be classified under H2, but in case of H1 we can come up only with example 4 that can satisfy the hypothesis H1. So here now we are cleared with the concept of hypothesis, we are cleared with the concept of positiveness and the conclusion or the classification of positiveness derived by the hypothesis. So if we look at some another scenario, like if an example could satisfy H1, it will for sure satisfy H2, but not other way around. We can come up with the concept also that if some hypothesis satisfies H1, it should satisfy H2. But if some example satisfy H2, it is not sure that it can satisfy H1 also. So the reason is because H2 is more general. Why it is general? Because H2 has a question mark unknown value where you can fit any number of constraints. So with that we can say that H2 is much more general as compared to H1, which doesn't provide any flexibility in terms of constraints. So this has been demonstrated below, like we have H2 encompasses more possibilities than H1. If we have an instance, suppose if we have an instance with the values, we have an instance suppose with the value rainy, freezing and strong, and it is fit for H2 because for second constraint we have a question mark. So will it classify as positive, but H1 will not satisfy it. We know that because in case of H2 we have a question mark, we can fit any value here, but in case of H1 we have already a value related to warm. So but when H1 classifies an instance as positive, says rainy, warm and strong, then it is certain that H2 will also classify it as positive. We can put warm here and we can say that H1 can classify positiveness. With that respect, H2 also can classify positiveness. But if we move in the second way around, we put H2 and put freezing over here, then H1 already is having a value warm, so it cannot fit freezing value over here. So we can say that this concept is not true. So this statement is satisfactory. This statement is correct after this conclusion. So if we look at some more concept, that is training data regarding concept play. We have already taken an example of play, that whether John should play golf, yes or no. We want to conclude that with the help of this training examples. So we have 4 scenarios for John, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And under one instance we have sky sunny, warm and strong wind is going on, he can play. Sunny, temperature is freezing, wind is strong, he can play. But if it is rainy, temperature is cold and wind is very strong, he cannot play. And if it is rainy, temperature is warm, wind is strong, he can play. So here only one scenario is there where John cannot play, and other remaining 3 scenarios John can play the game. So let us consider the following hypothesis from our own table, that the table which we have seen before. Now we have H1 hypothesis. Now sunny, we have unknown value, we have a strong wind, we have this value can be warm, this value can be freezing here. And if it is warm and freezing, we can say the output is yes, that is positive. Now let's take another H2 hypothesis. We have one value sunny given to us, one instance given to us, but these 2 instances are not given to us. So we can fit any number of values. We can fit for, we know that for the third instance we have only one value, that is the wind is strong. Okay. And in case of H3 hypothesis, we have sunny, warm, and the third scenario is missing here. So now based on what we learned regarding this relationship, we can compare these hypotheses and determine which one is more general than or equal to the others. Now we have seen in the previous example that we come up with the conclusion that H2 is more general as compared to H1 because it is specific, because it has one question mark. We can fit any value over here. Now from this scenario, if we look at the more number of question marks there in a hypothesis, it means it is more general. So from here we can say that H2 is a type of hypothesis again which is more general as compared to H1 and H3. Then H3 is more general, and in the last we can say that H1. So if we look closely, we can see that all the instances that satisfy both H1 and H3 also satisfy H2. So we can say that H2 is having more value, or H2 is more general than H1 and H3. But what about the relationship between H1 and H3? Can we conclude anything? Yes, we can conclude from both of them also that neither H1 nor H3 are more general than each other. So if we look here, can we conclude? It says that yes, we can, because neither H1 nor H3 are more general than each other. Why? Because the reason is, if we have a question mark over here, then we can say that H3 is more general than H2. But here we have one scenario only, that is the instance or the output is strong for the wind. So we cannot come up with the conclusion that H3 and H1 in H1 and H3, which one is more general. So now from this example, it is very much clear that what type of hypothesis we should consider more general and what type of hypothesis we should conclude as more specific. And with the help of more general hypothesis, we can come up with the output that is positive output. And that hypothesis is finalized for extracting fruitful results or for coming up to a, you can say, particular decision. Now, so after learning the concept of hypothesis, next is what is Finder's algorithm. So if we look at the Finder's algorithm, this is an algorithm under general to specific concept. So Finder's algorithm is, S denotes specific. It is a basic concept learning algorithm used in machine learning. The algorithm finds the most specific hypothesis, because S stands for more specific, to find specific hypothesis from n number of hypotheses that fits all the positive examples. We can say that if we find more specific hypothesis, then they will give us more conclusive or more positive examples or outputs. Finder's algorithm starts with the most specific hypothesis and generalizes this hypothesis each time it fails to classify an observed positive training data. So in case of Finder's algorithm, we move from the most specific hypothesis to the most general hypothesis. So with the help of this algorithm, we can move from a scenario of specific to general. Let's see how we can do that. So there are some important representations used in Finder's algorithm. First is the symbol question mark, which indicates that any value is acceptable for the attribute. Then we have specify a single required value, for example, cold for the attribute. So question mark is acceptable, means it indicates that any value is acceptable. And phi sign indicates that no value is acceptable. If we have a phi sign, then there is no value which we can insert. No value is acceptable. The most general hypothesis, we can say, where all the values can be acceptable, which has more number of question marks, then we can say that that hypothesis is very much general. And that hypothesis which has more number of phi signs, we can say that it is more specific hypothesis, because easily no value is acceptable here. So let's see the steps involved in Finder's. We start with the most specific hypothesis. We have a very generalized type of hypothesis first of all, which is more specific because it already contains the value, so it cannot accept new values. Okay, so that's why we put phi sign over here. Take the next example, and if it is negative, then no changes occur in the hypothesis. If the example is positive, we find that our initial hypothesis is too specific, then we update our current hypothesis to general condition. So it depends upon the number of negativeness and number of positiveness in the hypothesis statement. If we have already value related to no, then we can say that there is no change. But if we have a value or the outcome related to positive sign, then we have initial hypothesis, we can say too specific, and we can update the current hypothesis, and we can move from specific to general. So we can keep repeating the above step till all the training examples get completed. And after we have completed all the training examples, we will have the final hypothesis when can classify or which can classify the new examples. So let's take a scenario here. We have the following data set having the data about which particular seeds are more poisonous. So we have a data set related to seeds and we want to find out that which type of seed is more poisonous. Okay, we want to come to a very specific output that this kind of a seed is more, you can say, poisonous. So suppose for this we have attribute like color, toughness, fungus and appearance, and the output or the training output which we come out to be yes or no. So we have the color of the seed if green, and if its toughness is hard, if it doesn't have any fungus and its appearance is wrinkled, then we can say that it's more poisonous. And if we have a color green, we have a toughness hard and its fungus is yes, but its appearance is smooth, then we can say that the seed is not poisonous. So first of all, we have to see how many number of yes are there. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 number of yes and we have 2 number of no, that is negative output. So total examples are 7. So this is the attribute on which the whole concept depends, and this is the concept. So first we consider the hypothesis to be more specific hypothesis. First of all, the algorithm says that we have to take all the hypotheses as specific. So we start with phi sign. So let's take an example. The data in example 1, we have green, hard, no, wrinkled. So we see that our initial hypotheses are more specific and we have to generalize it for this example. Hence the hypothesis become green, hard, no, wrinkled, because initial we have taken all the values phi and we can have these values in it. So for this we come to a conclusion that this hypothesis becomes, finally we can say that we start with this hypothesis only, this state with only. Now next we go to the next state. Here we see this example has a negative outcome. Hence we neglect this example and our hypothesis remains the same. If we look at the previous, or we look at the our table, we can say that green, hard, no, wrinkled, green, hard, no, wrinkled. Okay. Now here we have the output poisonous, yes, but it says that this example is negative outcome, and hence we neglect this example because the output is fitting, the output is giving is the desired result. So it is a negative outcome. Hence we have green, hard, no, wrinkled. Now let's consider third example. We see that this example has a negative outcome, hence we neglect this example and our hypothesis remain the same. We have green, hard, no, wrinkled, and the output is green, hard, no, wrinkled. So it remains the same. In this scenario also the hypothesis remains the same. And if we go to fourth example, the data present in example 4, we have orange, hard, no, wrinkled. We compare every single attribute with the initial data. Now we compare orange with the first attribute, hard with hard, no with no, wrinkled with wrinkled. And now with the initial data, and if any mismatch is found, we replace that particular attribute with general case. Now we can say that here the color is orange, and over here, if we look at the scenario, the color is green. So this is a mismatch. Green and orange, both the colors are different. So this is a mismatch, and we can put now here a question mark. Now let's consider example 5. The data present in example 5 is green, soft, yes, smooth. We compare every single attribute with the initial data, that is, and if any mismatch is found, we replace that particular attribute with general case, that is question mark. After doing the process, the hypothesis become this. Since we have reached a point where all the attributes in our hypothesis have the general condition, that is the example 6 and example 7 would result in the same hypothesis with all general attributes. So we can say here that if we look here in this table, we come out to be same, the output come out to be same here. Okay, this is the scenario, hard and soft. If any scenarios become question mark, then we can change other scenarios also, and we can replace one by one. Because soft and hard doesn't match, we also put a question mark over here. So in this manner, we move on with each and every example, and we look or search for the mismatch, and we put question mark. So hypothesis, hence for the given data, the final hypothesis would be, that is, we have this hypothesis, just the case of more specific hypothesis, moving from general to specific. So now we can see that we can replace the scenarios, we can replace the instances with any other value, and can come up with the conclusion that we have a very moving from general to, we have a very specific outputs or specific hypothesis. So the algorithm says that we have to initialize H hypothesis to the most specific case hypothesis in H2. We have positive training instances, suppose X number of positive training instances are there, and for each attribute constraint A in H, if the constraint A is satisfied by X, then we will do nothing. But if the constraint, because in the first scenario we have seen we have yes, but in the next scenario we can see we have no. So totally the value changes. So if it doesn't satisfy for all the hypotheses, okay, then what we can do, we can replace A in H by the next more general constraint, and that is satisfied by the X3. So we have to replace with each and every step with the more general constraints, so that we can come up with the output, that is hypothesis H. So this is about the, we can say, our finders example or finders algorithm, so which is also, which satisfies the concept of specific hypothesis, with which can fit all the positive examples. So the conclusion is that from this slide we have learned about general to specific ordering, and we have learned about the finders algorithm. So I hope you have enjoyed the concept. Thank you all. Jai Hind.